Hi, this is Annie from the ADHD Minimalist. Let's just assume for now that you would like your spouse to help you declutter your house, because I was really reluctant to get into minimizing or even to declutter things. It honestly took some years of my husband asking me to declutter things. That was a big motivator, just to see that the other people in my family really needed me to make a change and they needed me to declutter. So, and it did take some years on my husband's part of being patient and asking me to declutter things without being nagging and without asking me all the time in the same week. Maybe one thing to do is to ask, like, can we declutter this specific area? And I sort of think of decluttering as a spiral, and you sort of like, your goal is to get to the middle of the spiral, but you start out here. And I sort of like went through some stuff with my husband before I really had the minimalist mindset. And so we would declutter and reorganize and just get rid of a few things. And that was like way out here on the edge. And then we had to, my camera ran out of battery when I was in the middle of that last video. So just to finish up really quick. Okay, after you get through the outside of the spiral, then you get a little bit smaller circle and you can get rid of more things. And each time you go around in a circle, you sort of strengthen your decluttering muscles. So you realize, oh, all of these things I can get rid of, or I don't need to keep this just in case anymore. And then eventually you get to nostalgic things and you get through those and you find that click point in the middle, which was sort of the point in the center. And I sort of am borrowing click point from Marie Kondo. She talks about a point where you feel like you have the perfect amount of items in your house. And so that's sort of my method of decluttering, that I wish I could have just done it all at once and just decided to just dump everything and just start over, because it would have saved me so much time, but I am just not that kind of person. I get a lot of questions about how do I motivate my spouse to help me declutter and minimize. Well, I thought I might be a good person to answer this question because I am a reluctant minimalist. This was honestly, my husband really wanted to get the house decluttered years and years ago. And then it actually took my son, who one day started throwing out all of his clothes into the hallway. And then toys started ending up in this clothes pile, and old electronics, a CD player that he didn't want to use, and it got bigger and bigger, and finally I couldn't get to the bathroom. I was like trying to hop around all of his stuff, which was blocking the hallway, and it was blocking the way to our only bathroom. And I was like, what are you doing? Because at first I thought he was just cleaning and he was making a dirty clothes pile he was gonna take to the bathroom later, but that wasn't the case. He wanted me to get rid of all of that stuff that was out in the hallway. And being a very practical parent, I picked up a sweatshirt out of the pile that was almost new. It might have even been completely new. He just tried it on. And I tried to convince him to keep it. And I realized later that that was the dumbest thing I could have done at that moment. He was giving me a wonderful opportunity to get rid of stuff that he didn't want. He told me, he was first really frustrated with me and mad, and he was like, I am not having this stuff in my room, and I hate having all this clutter, and I can't think in my room. And like all of these like angry emotions were coming out when I first asked him to keep 2 or 3 items. Then he sort of calmed down and he said, Mom, when I only have the things that I like and I need in my room, then I feel that my ADHD symptoms less. When he said that, a light bulb came on for me, and I let him get rid of everything, even the stuff that was expensive that I paid for, that I would have liked to get some money out of. We just got rid of it. We gave it away. I maybe sold one thing on eBay. I have been the one who's been really reluctant to embrace minimalism. And at first it was my husband. He was frustrated with our hallway downstairs, that we had too many winter clothes for the kids. And we do live in Sweden. I moved here from the United States about 16 years ago. My husband is Swedish, and it's cold for a good chunk of the winter, and we have lots of snow, and we ski almost every weekend. My husband was just going nuts. It was like there's stuff hanging, and we have a really small house and a really small hallway. And he was like, I feel like I'm going through the jungle in the hallway, and all this stuff is hanging, and it's like bumping me. And he just thought it was really frustrating. And I just kept convincing him that the kids, they need at least 3 different winter outfits, or there's reasons why we can't get rid of those shoes, even if maybe my daughter didn't really like them, or I just always had an excuse why we needed something. Like, it will be expensive if we have to rebuy it, or maybe that I think that my kid should have the newest outfit and my child doesn't like the color, and so she only wanted to have the old outfit. So we had one outfit out just because mom thought it was nice. So I've kind of learned to listen to my kids and what they actually want to wear, and also to listen to my other family members about how much stuff is okay amount of stuff for everyone in the house. Some of my tips for how to motivate your spouse to get into minimalism. I'm assuming not everybody has a son with ADHD who just decides to be a minimalist one day. So that was something that, just when I saw that he was doing much better, he kept asking me over and over again, can you minimize the rest of the things in the house? I can't handle how much junk is in the living room, or I can't find anything in the kitchen. Can we take care of the kitchen? My tips for motivating your spouse to help you declutter. My first one is just to have patience. My poor husband had lots of patience with me. He did talk about decluttering, I don't know, once a week maybe, but he didn't talk about it all the time, and he didn't give me a guilt trip about it. So he just sort of like planted a seed, and he would say something about it every once in a while, and then he had a lot of patience. Then 2, you can start by decluttering your own things. And the reason this is a good idea is because, like, when my son was decluttering his things, that was an inspiration to me and a motivation for me to start decluttering other things. Then you can ask your spouse if you can declutter a little room in your house together. And I would suggest start small. Pick something that you feel like you can accomplish in a few days, and it's not like an overwhelming monumental task, because then your spouse might just say no. So pick a small room, something that's actually doable, and ask your spouse to help you declutter. Then you can ask if you can have a room in your house where you can have your own decluttered workspace. And sometimes just if you can just clear the stuff from one room, and even if some of it's your spouse's stuff that they don't want to get rid of, if you could just relocate that to the garage or to another room, so you get one room that's decluttered where you can maybe have your desk and get some work done, that might be an inspiration to your spouse as well to declutter another room in the house. And so it might be the same for your spouse. If you just express really like your true feelings about how the house makes you feel when it's all cluttered, then that might be a motivator for them too. My fifth tip is to try to express how the clutter makes you feel. And do this without giving your spouse a guilt trip or casting blame, but just sometimes it's really motivating. Like when I heard how my son felt about the clutter in the house, that motivated me to want to declutter. Hi, I'm about to go paint my staircase because we're fixing the stairs today, but I'm wearing kind of gross paint clothes, but I just wanted to make a quick video here and say that one thing that really helps me when I was having a hard time letting go of things and I didn't really want to start decluttering, it was to have a goal and declutter things on eBay. So I set a goal for something I wanted to save money for, and then I put all the money that I made out of selling things on eBay into a specific bank account, and then I could see my progress, and this helped me declutter enormously. So I made a whole video about how to declutter things on eBay because in the beginning I was so unorganized that I couldn't even find the stuff that I put on eBay, and I totally panicked. So I don't want this to happen to you. So you can hop over to my channel and watch my video Decluttering with eBay after you're finished watching this video, of course, because I have a funny story at the end. Talk to your spouse and set a goal, something that you would both like to do. Maybe it's a trip, or maybe you need to make an expensive purchase, or even just save money for something like dental work. But decide what it is you're saving money for, and then even if your spouse won't help you like put the stuff on eBay, like if he could just help you or she to declutter some things and then make a pile of stuff that you're allowed to sell, then that would be enormously helpful for you. And I just found that just even if I got pennies on the dollar, just getting some money back for some items just made me feel a lot better about letting them go. We bought a farm. It's not a working farm, but from my husband's parents, and there seriously was 200 years of junk in one of the buildings that we are turning into a workshop for my husband's business. And we were digging out like old plows and old tools from 200 years ago, along with like baby buggies from the 50s that all the material had rotted away and it was just like a metal pile of junk, and old tiles from some kitchen or bathroom projects, and all kinds of junk was under this building. Plus that David's parents left some stuff here, and we eventually went through it and gave some stuff back that they wanted to keep, and we got rid of the stuff they said was okay. But we had so much junk to go through, and all of that stuff that we started with, it wasn't even ours. Overwhelming when you have to start with somebody else's junk.
Okay, I have a funny story for all of you guys who stayed to the end.
If you're watching this film and wondering if the ceiling is straight in this house, it's not. It's a 200-year-old barn and nothing is straight. Sometimes you just have to throw the level out in an old house and just go with whatever looks straight. If you notice, there's a window behind me. That didn't used to be here. We recently put the window in, and I think we just sort of lucked out. We were actually like on the outside of the house. You can see the logs, and we hung up windows in different spots to see what they would look like without making a hole in the wall. Yeah, we asked some friends what they thought, and some of them thought, oh, you should have two. You should have one in that corner and one closer to this wall. And they thought that would look best outside. But then in here, it wasn't really practical because you can't put hardly anything under the window because it's so low. So we went with one window, and afterwards we realized we put the window in on the only spot in the entire wall where it was decently straight, where the wall met the roof. And so you could see the window, then the trim where the ceiling meets the wall looks straight if you compare it to the trim by the window. And that was just, it was a miracle. It actually turned out looking that good because we did not think about that at all when my husband took out the chainsaw and cut a huge hole in the wall. So we kind of lucked out, because if you look at the wall on this side, it's partly hidden by the cupboard. It's going up like this, and the wall on that side is also going up like that. So it's kind of like, if you look at it at once, it looks sort of like a banana, and then it's just straight a little bit in the middle. So anyway, I just noticed when I started filming this that the couch was straight in the movie, and then the wall looked extremely crooked, but that's just the way this house is, so I can't really do much about it.
So you can go hop over to my channel and watch the video about decluttering on eBay. Thank you for sharing part of your day with us. If you found this helpful, go ahead and subscribe or give us a thumbs up. Bye.